today's times, the dynamics of functionality at a personal or a professional level has ushered a huge need for robust life skills that can help every individual to cope better with the numerous pressures and challenges, as well as with competence to face the realities of life. In other words, when we talk of life skills, we are referring to the abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that can effectively combat the demands and challenges of everyday life so as to address a good balance of three things: knowledge, skills, and attitude. We are an All India Women Task Force for Life Skills, and we endeavour to reach every single corner of the country as time goes by. We want to be able to make that positive difference to every working woman, regardless of which sector she belongs to. We want her to feel capacitated and empowered with her life skills. We are here to make a difference and do our little bit selflessly towards a Sashakt and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Jai Hind.
Good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome to all our viewers. On behalf of Wiki Life Skills Council, we hope you're staying safe and we hope all is well with you and your near and dear ones. I'm Anu Vaklu and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. Wiki and its manifold councils and committees at international, national, regional, state and city level represent across nearly 200 sectors. We create suggestions and create programs and policies and give them to the government and other agency in order to strengthen women's voices, leadership presence, and business growth. The Life Skills Council of Wiki has a vision to create a powerful and enriching ecosystem for life skills in India to help working women achieve workplace success and success as professionals and personal human beings. We all know that to succeed in our careers, we need success skills which go far beyond the functional skills that we may have been trained for. And these skills that are what we call life skills, and they cut across all areas of functional expertise. UNESCO, UNICEF, and WHO has identified 10 core life skills. These are problem solving, creative thinking, critical thinking, effective communication, decision making, interpersonal skills, self-awareness, empathy, and coping with stress and emotions. We at the Wiki Life Skills Councils are working towards creating awareness and relevance of these skills across women professionals in India. The 4-hour series of webinar, 4 hour stands for Friends of Hope and Resolve, is an initiative recently started by us as an outreach program where women can learn from the experience of experts and subject matter experts in order to pick up perspectives and build coping mechanisms. Friends, I'm delighted to introduce our very, very dynamic guest speaker for today for the third 4-hour series, Manjushree Raina. Manjushree is the Associate Director, Marketing of the Intervention Cardiology and CRM of the well known company Boston Scientific India Hub. In her current role as Head of Marketing, she's responsible for the development and the implementation of the marketing strategies, programs, as well as creating strategic market plans for her organization. Prior to being in Boston Scientific, she has had earlier stints with well known organizations such as Merrill Life Sciences, Abbott Vascular, and prior to that, also with Ferrero Spa, where she was responsible for launching the well known brand Kinder Joy in India. Apart from her corporate career, she is a passionate painter, very fond of gardening, and playing with her Shih Tzu puppy called Sifu. And that is something she and me have in common, our love for the animals and dogs. So, welcome, Manjushree, and we are so very, very delighted that you are with us today.
Thanks so much, Anu, and thank you to Vicky. All the team members are doing a great job, and very happy to spend some time today with all the viewers who are coming and joining us. I hope everyone is keeping safe.
Yes, yeah, we are in very, very chaotic times. And yeah, I hope everyone's fine. Thank you, Manjushree. So, at such a young age, you are in such an important, position in your organization. Could you just tell us a little bit about your journey as a professional? Some highlights of your career, whatever you'd like to share with us.
Thanks for that question. I believe age, with all these years of that I've spent in corporate, I've realized age is, like they say, just a number. What really matters is what you can pack into that number of years that you spend working for an organization. So what kind of projects, what kind of path breaking or hard work that you put in, that makes all the difference. So that's what I have, I would say that's what I'm passionate about. So if there is something which is difficult, or that's something that people will want to run away from, I'm the one which will be running towards it. So so that's something that I would say has made me be where I am. And this is just a journey. I don't see myself as accomplished something big, or I would say I'm just going on the right path. Long career ahead of me. I really want to build my presence in marketing and help as many women leaders as I can, in my journey. So wherever I go, I try to work with a lot of women, even men, just to see someone, to mentor somebody, to grow someone in their career. It's just a such a great fulfilling feeling that one gets. So that's something I really am passionate about. So to your question, just to summarize, like you just gave a brief summary, but you're right, I have gone through all these I would say chapters in my life. Each one propelled me to where I wanted to be. So I wouldn't say that I had all of it planned out. It's just I would say in that moment what was the right decision. That's what I evaluated, consulted with my friends, family, took the right decision. At least that's what I feel. If it isn't right, then at least you have a good learning. So one shouldn't hold oneself back. thinking that what will happen if I make some do something wrong. I think there is nothing which is wrong. You will end up having a good learning and then take that up in your next chapter and then move on. So I would say such two things, that I have this appetite for risk, and I would say that I hold my cool. I know this because in all the rooms that I've been, all the boardrooms I've been, I'm the one who will have the most cool head, and that's what I would say that has triggered in me being where I am. Because as we grow up the corporate ladder, there are more complexities, more complex high stake decisions that are thrown at you, and that's where one should be able to visualize the complexity of the problem and take the best possible decision in the quickest possible time. So that's probably the shortest summary I can give you on what has helped me be where I am.
Amazing. And we just got a comment that somebody said that that's really very well said. So compliments to you, Manjushree. I was just a little curious that your area of work, while it's marketing, it's very specialized. You're not selling soaps and shampoos and the common things one associates with the head of marketing, but you're into into medical devices, and you're also into a very specialized aspect. How did you, I mean, again, was it a conscious, how did you get into this? Tell us about it.
Sure. So I feel that this example might help viewers listening in. So, and I'm being very candid when I say this. When I was in school, I wanted to do research. Okay, so I wanted to be a scientist, and then even I took biotechnology, which I would say was not a very, and it's still not a very sought after specialty when one does the 11th and 12th. So I took that. I did my engineering in biotechnology, planning for going out and pursuing research. And then it just reached a point where I just couldn't find avenues for me to go and pursue that research within India. It required me to go out of the country, which at that time wasn't feasible for me. So at that juncture, this was a point which probably I pivoted and figured, okay, my next best love or my next best passion is creativity. So what is it that comes closest to it? So okay, let's do management, and maybe marketing campaigns might be interesting. So that triggered me into pursuing my studies for MBA. And then again, when anybody goes for an MBA in marketing, the first choice is FMCG, because that's the that's the place where you really put all your marketing into play. And that's where I reached Ferrero, which was I would say a great stint. Opened my eyes, I would say. And I had a very good female leader there. I'll not take her name here, but she's really been pivotal in shaping my I would say my early years, to get that professional out of me. And at that time, then I realized, okay, let's go back to the original love, go back to science. And that's where I came into Abbott, and then rest is history. So I try to marry my love for creativity and my love for science into one role. And then here I am. It's a super specialty field. It's not something very regular, but having said that, it's exciting. We are helping patients live better lives, and this is a very fulfilling feeling that we are able to achieve through our work.
Yeah, I think it's such a blessing that you have been able to create this kind of amazing fusion between, as you said, science and creativity, and really. So thanks so much. And I was very very intrigued when you also mentioned about as we all know the first supervisor, first manager, whoever he she are, they create
Yeah.
a significant impact because we haven't worked earlier. So that's
Yes.
so it's nice to know that you had a woman leader manager who sort of gave you that initial momentum. And yeah, and I'm sure you're doing that to many people in your own organization now.
Absolutely.
So, when you look at life skills and, you have reached where you are today, and, if you look at life skills, how do you see the correlation between life skills and success at work? If you see that at all.
There's a big correlation, Anu. I think life skills that have been listed out, and you listed themselves, like you listed it before for everyone. Each one of them has its role. And how I visualize it is that these are, a pack of cards that you're having with you all the time, and you can pull out each one whenever you need it. You might not end up using everything at the same time or same juncture of your career, or even at home, but they should be there in your subconscious to be able to use it as and when required. So I feel one should always be conscious of it. So it really helps. Then you can have, I would say, a more holistic approach in your workplace, if we are talking about that. For example, communication. So for me as a marketer, that becomes my number one skill that I should dive into. But as in when, if I compare my career when I was starting to now, the level of decision making, for example, has increased. The creative component would have decreased, but my empathy should go up. So each and every one of the skill will have a different level of impact or different level of play as in when you grow in your career, or depending on which sector or industry one is in. So I feel all of them play a very important role, just to summarize. But I think the biggest thing is one should be conscious of it, so that you know when to pull that out, or just having them with you all the time can be a big support.
Yeah, yeah. I totally I like the analogy you gave to a pack of cards, and also this hierarchy, because you can't really be with the same set all the time. Of course, it's required. It's like eating food, you require, but at different times you need something little more and little less. So when it comes to decision making, how do you see the role of decision making vis-a-vis workplace success?
I feel it's one of the biggest differentiator that we have, because I feel whenever we go into any organization, and I've worked in different types of organizations now to realize that um, basic level of communication, and the basic is there, because that's what the hiring process does, right? You get talent of a particular segment, or there's a bare level of talent that is there with all the employees. What really is a differentiator when one grows further up the corporate ladder is the decision making capacity, because I feel that at a CEO level, as we all know, will be at a very different level, impacting hundreds and thousands of employees. And at a senior manager level, it will be for a team, and so on and so forth. So I feel that is something that even corporates look for decisive, employees when hiring at, I would say, a managerial or a leadership position. And I feel as women, we have a very good I would say biological inheritance to things like empathy. And I think as women we should first understand that out of these 10 life skills, many of them is something that we get very naturally. So what is it that can really differentiate us with the rest is things like being more decisive. I think this is one thing that if we look at even how our social setup is, I feel women in India are a little less decisive in the way we approach. Possibly in some cases it is the way we are conditioned in our upbringing, but if we are more aware of it, then I would say, I can see a sea of difference between women leaders who are more decisive versus those who feel or who think too much, or worry about what will happen more than taking a decision, which is more it's in fact worse for the organization. So um, I feel it's super important skill, and we can talk about it more as we progress.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think I do feel that it's a very, I mean, all skills are important, but I think as you for women, we are often quite tentative, and we want to be very participatory. Not that being participatory is against decision making, but very often, it's that, let's just keep it open and let's hear everyone's opinion. And sometimes that comes in the way of decision making.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, it's said that, where to take decision or to, make appropriate decision, you need data, you need experience, and you need intuition. And, so what triggers for you when you are taking decisions?
Anu, I think it's a very scientific process. Honestly, I don't see it as a very vague process. First step, and be it a small decision or any major decision, should be first to visualize what exactly is the question or what exactly are you wanting to achieve out of it. So once you have that, then you should start collecting information. I think many a times what happens is one starts to jump into finding a solution mode without even realizing what all are the different aspects of that decisions that it will impact to. So for example, if I'm taking a decision which impacts, say, two or three departments, then I should be hearing from every one of them what exactly is the impact on them or their viewpoint. Hear everybody's perspective out, because everyone will come with a different set of positives and negatives for you to evaluate, and then take a call after taking all of those perspectives and information from everyone, and then take a decision which I would say in many a times can be a win-win, right? So you shouldn't just jump into a problem just saying that, okay, this is the best solution that I can come up with fastest, but I would say take a very objective call by collecting all the information and then making a decision.
Yeah, and I also heard you say that, take perspectives and then, get the data, understand what is the issue,
Yeah.
gather data, hear perspectives, and then take a very well structured decision. So, there's a question which has come up, and which is that how do women keep a balance between logic and emotions in decision making? So, the
That's
general feeling is that women are always more emotional. So,
But that's a fact, right? I think the first step is to recognize it. Many a times I have a lot of friends and we chit chat like normal people, right? And some of them feel that no, women are not more emotional. But I think let's first agree that this is something biological. That's how nature has made us. We have more empathy. We have also more emotion. So that's absolutely fine. First to accept it. Then coming to the question, how do you balance logic and emotion? I think the best way to do it, which I do, is never to react. So if something happens, just smile or just be poker, have a poker face, and just absorb the information that you're receiving, and then take a call. So if sometimes the emotion is manifesting in anger, or emotion is manifesting in any kind of a negative format, just just let it just keep it in you, because I think our corporates in India are not open to emotions still. I think we haven't evolved that much. Maybe in couple of years we would, but I would typically keep it, and I'll just rest it down for a couple of hours. Sometimes it can be a day or two, and then take a call which is based on, again, going back to the steps we were talking about, collecting information and then taking a decision which is more data oriented or more logical, and not something that you say if you say something, it's like an arrow which has gone off, right? You really can't take it back, and then the damage is done. I think one should avoid reacting, and especially with words. I think words do bigger damage than anything else, so one should be little cautious of that.
okay, so what you're saying is just hold on. If you're getting that state of emotions, hold on to it. Don't react immediately. Take time out and then come back and respond. And I think that ties up with what you mentioned earlier, that one of your strengths is that cool head, and therefore
Yeah,
not just letting your whatever words come out, because words can. It said that words create worlds and words create barriers also. So very
absolutely.
valuable,
I'll share something else, Anu. This
very
just came in my mind. Hi, can
yeah.
you hear me?
Yes, of course. Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
So I just recollected something that my one of my previous professors had said, that in corporate world, you'll face a lot of stress. It's like a roller coaster ride. So it's up to you if you want to be fearful and full of emotion and not enjoy it, or have a smile and just enjoy the ride. So I think that's really stuck with me. So many a times in meetings when I'm probably having a smile, a lot of people say, why are you smiling? I said, it's fine, I'm happy being here, right? I think now in pandemic one should be more than happy if your family, everyone is keeping safe and you're sleeping in your own bed. I think that's enough blessing that one can have in this time, and I think we should smile and at least spread some positivity around. So this is something that I wanted to share to all the viewers. If you think you're stressed, look at it like a roller coaster ride.
Looking at a road and keep on smiling. I think, if I had to
Absolutely.
ask you what is one way to build up resilience and to take decisions, I think what I'm picking up is keep a good smile on your face.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One thing I would just wanted to ask you, since decision making for women especially is so important if we want to rise in our any career. See, you are in corporate, but even any career you have to take decisions at senior levels and junior levels too.
Yeah.
So, what are some ways in which women can build this ability to be able to take decisions?
Sure. Thanks for that question, Anu. When you were saying this earlier, that the decision making is different at a junior level versus a senior level. I think if I reflect back in my career when I started off, and typically this is how it happens, right? When you are new in a job, one would be more like a mailman, right? You get some information and you give it to your manager, and the manager takes the decision, right? So I realized it early on that that's not something that is adding value to me, right? So what one can explore is take that information, but when you go to your manager, go with a solution or a basket of solutions that that manager can choose from. So what it does is that you are not taking the decision, but you can try out, maybe if some decision that you have taken, it's been used by your manager, and it's something, you get an exposure without any risk, right? Because you're not the one who's facing the brunt of the decision, right? So this is something that I used to follow, that whenever there is any issue or any challenge, always go with what is the possible solution and propose that to the management or your manager. And this inherently helps build that capability, and that's how it just makes your existence much more easier. And you are in the limelight already, right? So as you grow, your managers know, okay, that person is ready because he or she has been giving these instances of performance over the
Yeah.
years, and the decision making is already there. So this is something I feel one should really use. And secondly, I think one really undermines the role of peers or networking. I think with women, we are a little slower on that. I have seen that. So I don't have any research to back it up, but what I've seen in my career, that we network a little less. I think we should find out good networks within the organization that become your support system, and they give you that feedback on whether you are on the right trajectory, or what is the impact of the decisions or work that you're doing, and how you can improve. I think one should identify those supports, the support within the organization, and they can be men, women, whoever is ready to mentor you. But I think that really plays a very important role, and has in my career as well.
Right. So what you're saying is that the right networks to reach out to, and also as a employee, woman manager, to actually have a problem solving orientation. Even if you're not asked, you come up with a possible set of solution, and then people start looking at you differently, and you
Exactly.
start building that brand about yourself. Very well
Absolutely.
said. And we have an interesting question for Chanama, and she says that. We're building on our emotional part.
Yeah.
Are women put down because they are emotional and more empathetic? And I think in my career I have come across many instances where women will let go of their emotions, a kind of usually it's around crying only, mostly I've
Yeah.
seen. And because they're upset about something. So does that create, I mean, does that create a letdown for women? That's the question.
So the answer that I want to give is no, but I feel the answer is unfortunately yes, and the answer is coming from, I would say, the the corporate culture that we have, and I'm speaking just from what we have in India out of my experience that I've seen. I think everybody has not evolved enough to accept emotions in a workplace the way that people should be okay accepting it. I think we are away, still far away from that. But having said that, I personally don't see it as a weakness. The only thing is, if somebody is suppose emotional, and it has happened, it's not that it has not happened. It's happened multiple times when the some of the team members, come up and they went out or they break down in pressure or whatever, their personal issues bothering them. I personally feel it's not a negative. It's just that we are all human beings at the end of the day, right? So it's fine to vent out sometimes, but I feel one should be a little cautious of where you are, exposing those vulnerabilities to. So, for example, if it is in a with a confidant at a workplace, it's still fine, and this is my personal view. But if it is, say in a board meeting, right, so that may not be the best of the places to really let emotions overpower your judgment. And I think that's where one should be a little bit more, have a little bit of more control
Yeah.
over oneself, right? So it's just, I would say, over time you can really coach yourself and build this within you.
Actually, it's so interesting that now in this time that we are in, and even otherwise, I think the paradigm of what we look for, we are looking definitely at more empathetic leaders in the
Yeah.
workplace. I think everyone's talking about empathy. We're talking about resilience, and women automatically have it. The
Yes.
question probably is, to be able to manage the emotions such that you do not let go inappropriately. You're in control, you still show empathy, but you don't sort of, I can't manage my emotions kind of a scenario doesn't happen. That
Absolutely. And very good point, Anu. I think the workplace itself has changed dramatically. I think, and it's a good opportunity for women. And, earlier I remember, like a couple of years back, if I had to take work from home to, probably take care of some chores at home, it would have probably been looked upon as, maybe the person is not professional, or, and we all know, right, many years ago, work from home wasn't something which was a norm. But now last 1 year has really taught everybody the benefits and the issues of work from home, and it has built tremendous empathy. I think that's what I have seen across in my network. Everybody understands the challenges that one is in when you're working from home with your family, kids all around. But I think, and we are not going to go back. Let me tell you, I've realized that as well. I think the workplace has completely changed. Most of the companies will now go into a hybrid work mode, and that presents tremendous opportunities for women leaders, managers, and women wanting to just come back maybe after a maternity or a break that they would have taken for attending to family. I think this is a good time where you can manage your time well and come into the corporate world and build your careers.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. I think the world of work is really changing, and it's up to us now to take advantage of that way, the
Absolutely.
way it's shaping out. So, I was just wanting one more question, which is that as in your career, since we are largely talking about decision making, can you narrate any example or any experience where one decision of yours has changed the narrative in the workplace, or made a significant change in your career? Anything that you'd like to share with us?
So there are many, honestly. I think each and every pivot or each and every change really triggered, in me, I would say, in a good direction, which has led me to be, to the position where I am today, which will again take me further into my career. But one defining moment, I would say, and this is not related to just work but in general,
Mhm.
was to move out of the city. So I am like, I did most of my education in Delhi, and then went for my MBA to Pune, and ended up with a job in Pune. At the same time, I was offered a job in Gurgaon. So it was, on one side there was comfort of coming back home, and on the other side was, something which was out of the comfort zone, and setting up your home, and just running the household, as well as living in a city where there's nobody, there's no relatives, no support system. So at that time, I think that was a very difficult decision, and it has really helped build me and my character much more stronger. So I think any women leaders, or anybody who's listening to this and has an opportunity to really, I would say, move out of the city and live in some other place where you have not
Yeah.
been in before. I think that really opens up your mind, and culturally there's a very different outlook that one gets. And I think you should really look for that opportunity, be it within the country or outside, it doesn't matter. But I think it's just a very beautiful experience that helps you open up your mind, right?
It's like, staying at home or staying in a hostel that also shapes your goal
Absolutely.
orientation.
It's about, it's about being in a comfort zone, and as humans, we all crave for comfort, right? So whatever information comes our way, that reinforces our beliefs, is something we easily accept. But if it's something which we don't agree to, then it's very difficult to accept that. So I think that's what one should look for, as at least at a younger age, till you don't have kids or responsibilities that hold you to one city. One should really look for such experiences, and they really last a lifetime.
Very nice. I think this will be such a valuable bit of advice for our young viewers that take risks and get out of this little Lakshman Rekha that sometimes we put around
Absolutely.
ourselves. In fact, very often we always ask, "Are you comfortable?" So I really want to tell people, don't be comfortable. Be uncomfortable.
Absolutely. The learning
Yeah.
happens in the place where you're uncomfortable, right? So if you've done something, you know something, and you repeat it again and again, you'll just reinforce that again and again in your mind, but you'll not really grow. So I that's the reason why I love traveling. So I love traveling to places I've never been to before. My work doesn't help me. I end up traveling back again and again to the same cities I have traveled most of the time. But still, whenever I get a chance, and hopefully, on the other side of the pandemic, would love to go back and explore cultures, food, people, thoughts. It's just such a beautiful feeling, diving into it whenever one gets a chance.
Yeah, thanks, thanks. That's so another thing in common. So you started by talking about this particular person, who was a very good woman leader and manager for you. I just
Yeah.
wanted to ask you. So, in your career so far, have there been
Yeah.
any women? You needn't name them if you like. I mean, if you don't want to, but have there been any women who have sort of influenced, been a role model for you, mentored you in your career so far?
I have many women actually who have, really shaped up the way I have, and starting all the way from my school, I can say, you might be surprised when I say this. I'm an introvert. So my personal in my personal life, this is how I am. I'm an introvert, but my teacher recognized it, for example, in my school, that this girl maybe has something, so she pushed me into public speaking, managing assemblies, etc., and things like that. At that
Mhm.
point, I was terrified. I was like, what is going on every time I'm on the stage? But I think that small things like that really propelled. My mom, she has been a phenomenal role model, behind me, after me, really pushing me every time. My mother-in-law, she has been superb support system, always giving me all, rooting for me, praying for me. Even at work, I've had some tremendous managers, leaders, women leaders, male leaders, And that's where the point on networking comes. Many a times I think, and I've seen this, people get petrified reaching out to, say, somebody sitting in the cabin, right? When I've heard these conversations in the corridor, that why would we go there? Kuch pooch liya to kya hoga, and all those things. I think we are all human beings. Let's not forget that, right? At the end of the day, the person sitting in the room as well is a human being, right? You can go and have a good conversation over a cup of coffee, over lunch, maybe just catch hold of the person in the corridor, say a hello. I think, small things like that really help. And I can't really speak enough on that, but one should identify such people. And I've been lucky to, find many of such pillars in my career who have given me a lot of insight, a lot of mentoring, guidance in my career. And be it my first manager, she was a hard taskmaster, Anu, let me tell you. So she pushed me into Dharavi doing sales. So imagine a girl going there, and at that time I was petrified, but I think she did wonderful, right? She pushed me out of my comfort zone to the last limit, that I was not afraid of doing anything beyond that. So things like that. Then uh, in my previous organization, I had a woman leader. I'm just amazed to see how she's managing home, two kids, and running business, taking decisions day in and day out. And that's where I realized the support system that one needs to build at home. I think that's something which is very underrated. But we should, as women, we should really build up a good ecosystem at home. Talk to your partner, talk to your family, inform them about your aspirations. Everyone wants you to be happy, right? So one should not be afraid of voicing out what you are looking for, and taking help wherever you can. They'll be more than happy to help you. And that then you can just focus on your work, right?
Yeah, I think it's an ecosystem we work in. So if we reach out to people, people are there to support. And if we kind of keep everything within us, then people don't even you don't have an X-ray machine to run until you create it your new as part of your devices. But I think until that is there, we have to speak out and we have to
Yeah,
ask, and you have to share. I think you get that support.
absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you a couple of questions before we close, and one of them was really this: that if you had to reboot your life, you're back to the whatever you remember of your initial bit. How would you sort of, would there be any things you would do differently, or how would life be for you?
Honestly, Anu, I am so happy and I feel very blessed the way my career has shaped up. And let me also tell you, it's not been easy, right? So many a times, when one sees a smiling person, people think, probably I just got lucky. And I've heard that from my friends as well. But it's not been easy. I have really, there's a lot of hard work and a lot of blood, sweat, tears that has gone into making it. Not just from me, I think my family, all of them would have really compromised, right? You can't really get it all and I think that's the first rule. One should really recognize that you can't get it all. I think one should identify what's the priority, 1 2 3, and then see what's the best situation or the best that you can get out of a moment or time that you have, and not try being perfect for everything, because it's not possible. I think as women, that's also something that we want everything to be perfect and be for everything, which I think will just burn you down, right? So we should realize that, one, it won't happen, and let's just agree that, okay, there's only that much one can do in 24 hours. So prioritize your life, talk to the family members, and then put in your time. And to your question on rebooting my life, I think the only thing I feel in my early part of the career I should have enjoyed more. I think I was just, I would say I was just too much immersed, and I realized, this point on networking that I was talking about. I would say couple of years down the line, I had only one or two people I used to really talk to. And then I realized, over time, that that's something that I should have started early on, because it just gives you a very different perspective, and possibly that would have helped me out even more. But I honestly don't regret it.
No
I
regrets in
still, yeah,
life.
no regrets.
So the well, it's not a question. It's asking you for a bit of advice. So if you had to give advice to all our young and growing gracefully old members all over India, what would be two tips you would give them to have a more effective work life uh, in whatever areas they work in? What would be your two bits of advice?
So, Anu, I feel, and this is what I follow as well. One, take care of yourself, right? So I think many a times, we as women always think about others first, and that's how we are conditioned. And I am the same way. But take a step back every day just to reflect about yourself. That what is it that I want to do, and what is it that I have done today. So if you spend those 5 minutes every day, and this doesn't need to be like sitting, idle and thinking about it. It can be as well in the kitchen when you are, winding up stuff at in the night. Just think, okay, what is one thing that I want to do, or I did good today? What is it that I want to achieve? I think that just gives a little bit more clarity on, where one is heading. And apart from that, and this can happen, by the way, on the first point, it can happen at any age. It doesn't need to be, even, and I wish, even when I reach 60, 70 years of age, I still want to do that. It can be anything that you feel happy to do, right? I
Yeah.
think we should also prioritize some of some of the things that make us happy. And the second one is to be financially independent. I think one should not undermine the value of being independent, to take care of your finances. I think all of us should really think, how many of us do really take our financial decisions, or is it somebody else who does that for us? And by somebody else, I mean, not a person that you've hired, but your family members. There's nothing wrong, but one should be a part of that, right? You should know, what you're earning and how you're spending it. And this brings me to a point that my father told me once. He said earning is the most easiest thing to do. You can earn money very easily. Spending is the most difficult thing to do. So where to spend that money, that one should know. And I think, all women should really think through how to manage the finances, and should definitely be a part of those, at
Very.
any age and stage.
Thanks, Manjushree. So nice to get these two bits of tips from you. And I think beyond these tips, in your whole conversation, you told us about, being proactive, coming up with solutions, having a cool head, managing your stress. I think there have been many, many very valuable insights. So I really want to thank you for your time and your contribution to this webinar. Thank you so very much. And we are so delighted you could be with us. And viewers, we would also like to thank all of you for being present for this webinar. And we trust that the session has been of value to you. And I'd like to conclude by saying Jai Hind and Jai Jagat.
Thank you, Anu. Thank you, everyone. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening.